The 70s gave us bold, unforgettable sci-fi, and in a recent video, we picked one standout film for each year of that wild decade. Now we move into the 1980s, a faster, flashier era where sci-fi didn't just explore strange ideas, it became a box office force. Franchises took off, genre blending became the norm, and filmmakers like Cameron, Carpenter, and Spielberg made science fiction bigger than ever. But here's the question. If you had to keep just one sci-fi movie from each year of the 80s, what would your list look like? Here's mine. 10 years, 10 films. Let's begin. Yes, Star Wars is science fiction, and The Empire Strikes Back deserves a place on this list and on any list of the greatest sequels ever made. It didn't just continue the story, it deepened it. The stakes got higher, the characters more complex, and the tone much darker. The battle on Hoth, Yoda's lessons in exile, Han and Leia's slow burn tension, and Vader's reveal. These moments didn't just raise the stakes, they became part of cinema history. With Irvin Kershner directing and Lucas stepping back to produce, the film found a perfect balance of myth, character, and scale. Over 40 years later, it's still the gold standard. In the then future of 1997, Manhattan has become a giant maximum security prison. When Air Force One crashes inside, the US president is taken hostage by the local warlord, the self-declared Duke of New York. With only 24 hours before a crucial peace summit, the authorities send in Snake Plissken, ex-soldier, convict, and walking threat, to get him out. With his eye patch, dry one-liners, and total disregard for authority, Snake became one of the most striking characters of the decade and shaped the kind of leads Carpenter would return to later. The film's cynical premise reflected the political mood of the mid-1970s and hit theaters just after the Iran hostage crisis, giving it unexpected weight. Add in colorful characters, tight pacing, and one of Carpenter's best scores, and Escape from New York became a cult classic for a reason. Blade Runner influenced everything: cyberpunk, anime, video games, even film studies. Its rain-soaked vision of dystopian Los Angeles, with flying cars and towering neon skylines, became the blueprint for modern sci-fi. Blending metropolis-style design with 1940s noir, the film stood out for its atmosphere and ambition. Loosely adapted from a Philip K. Dick story, it focused less on action and more on questions of identity, memory, and what it means to be human. The story follows a cop tracking down rogue androids, beings built to serve, now desperate to live. It's dark, slow, and beautiful, carried by Rutger Hauer's unforgettable performance and Vangelis's ambient score. Its release was messy, with studio interference leading to multiple versions, including a now famous director's cut. But over time, Blade Runner became more than a cult film. It became a cornerstone. Videodrome is one of David Cronenberg's most influential films, a mix of sci-fi and horror with a disturbing look at media, violence, and control. Max Wren, played by James Woods, runs a low-budget TV station that looks for the most extreme content. He finds a mysterious broadcast called Videodrome, which shows torture and death. As he digs deeper, he meets Nikki Brand, a radio host with sadomasochistic interests, and starts to lose his grip on reality. Described by Andy Warhol as a Clockwork Orange of the 80s, the film mixes body horror with dream logic, blurring the line between screen and mind. It's strange, unsettling, and unlike anything else in cinema. James Cameron's The Terminator hit like lightning, a sharp sci-fi action film that quickly erased memories of his forgettable debut, Piranha 2. With backing from Orion Pictures, Cameron launched what would become a major franchise with this lean, relentless story. A cyborg assassin from a post-apocalyptic future, Arnold Schwarzenegger in his most iconic role, is sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, mother of a future resistance leader. but soldier Kyle Reese is also sent back to protect her and explain what's coming. Pulpy and fast-moving, the Terminator stands out for its mix of raw tension, dark humor, and brutal energy. The script is smarter than most action films, the violence hits hard, and the time loop plot keeps it tight. A genre classic that more than delivers. And yes, you'll be back. Terry Gilliam's Brazil is a dark, strange sci-fi film set in a future full of broken machines and endless paperwork. Jonathan Pryce plays Sam Lowry, a low-level clerk who dreams of escape, but is stuck in a cold, bureaucratic system. Written by Gilliam, Tom Stoppard, and Charles McYown, the film mixes slapstick with dystopia. There are baby-masked terrorists, dream scenes with flying heroes, and endless cosmetic surgeries. It's messy by design, and not always easy to follow, but it leaves a strong impression. Gilliam originally wanted to call it 1984 and a half, combining Orwell's story with Fellini's style. That odd mix shows in every part of the film. James Cameron's Aliens shifts the tone from horror to full-scale sci-fi action, with clear echoes of the Vietnam War. But unlike patriotic action films of the 1980s, this one presents militarism as chaotic and doomed, with defeat built into the system. Ripley returns not just as a survivor, but as the most competent figure in a mission filled with armed but unprepared Marines. The film builds on the feminist themes of the original, highlighting how she, along with a young girl who managed to survive alone, becomes the real force of resistance. At the same time, the story exposes the goals of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, which sees the alien threat as a potential weapon. Burke, its representative, treats lives as disposable, but ends up killed by the very creatures he tried to exploit. Aliens reflects on the ruthless logic of corporate capitalism and questions the blind glorification of advanced weapons as a solution to every threat. Arnold Schwarzenegger faces off against a deadly alien in the jungles of South America, and Predator turns what starts as a standard action film into one of the most memorable sci-fi thrillers of the 80s. The creature itself, originally imagined as a lizard-like alien to be played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, was completely reworked into the now iconic design by Stan Winston. The result is one of the most recognizable movie monsters ever put on screen. The film leans hard into 80s action, blood, bullets, and bodies, with a cast full of muscle and attitude, including Jesse Ventura. But beneath the surface, Predator taps into smarter sci-fi ideas than its macho style might suggest, all while giving Schwarzenegger some of his most famous one-liners. Another John Carpenter film that deserves a place on this list. They Live combines sci-fi, horror, and political satire in a sharp and unexpected way. Based on Ray Nelson's short story 8 O'Clock in the Morning, it imagines a world where aliens control humanity through hidden messages in ads, TV, and magazines. The story follows John Nada, a blue-collar drifter played by wrestler Roddy Piper. He finds a pair of sunglasses that reveal the truth. Subliminal commands everywhere, and aliens disguised as regular people. Dollar bills read, "This is your God," and the world he knew falls apart. The plot doesn't always hold together, and some leaps in logic are hard to ignore. But the film makes up for it with energy and attitude. Piper's long, brutal alley fight with Keith David is now legendary. They Live is rough, strange, and completely one of a kind. A true cult classic. After time-traveling cyborgs and alien warfare, Cameron went underwater. The Abyss is his third entry here, and maybe his most personal. It didn't match the success of his other blockbusters, but over time, its quieter power has earned new appreciation. The story follows a civilian diving team sent to recover a lost nuclear submarine. Along the way, they encounter a mysterious alien species deep beneath the surface. Danger and drama lurk around every corner down in the depths, but it's the film's Oscar-winning special effects that steal the show. The groundbreaking water tentacle sequence introduced many viewers to computer-generated imagery, a technique that would soon become standard in big-budget filmmaking. Few claustrophobic thrillers have the same sense of awe as The Abyss, and the 1993 special edition only makes it better.